Hey everyone, welcome back to KC3 Sparks. Today we're going to be going over how to create a hand cart for this Reaper miniature. So in one of my upcoming campaigns, I'm going to be using this mini as a merchant, and I wanted a hand cart that he could like tote around town, that kind of thing, have my players interact with. And so obviously whenever you're creating a mini for a mini, you want to go ahead, measure them up, make sure that they are going to look good next to each other. So I already took care of that step. We're going to go ahead and hop right into Blender. So obviously, of course, you want to make sure that all of your important things are set up. So make sure when you go into scene, you either have it in centimeters or inches or whatever you prefer to work with. You know, that is definitely your preference. I prefer to work in inches. And then I like to scale my grid down to 1/4 of an inch. And for our box today, I am actually going to start with this box. Oh my gosh, I'm not starting with a circle. So for this box, I'm going to go ahead and make the X, I think I want to do 1/2 an inch? No, I need 0.75 inches because I'm actually going to have it as more of a rectangle. For the Y, I'm going to have it as 1/2 an inch wide, and then it's only going to be 1/4 of an inch tall. So that's not right. There we go. Perfect. Got our little box going. Going to go ahead and hide the lamp and the camera and rename this to cart in our outliner just to keep things nice and neat in case, or when, not in case, I add things later on. So now that we have all of that situated, I'm going to go ahead and hit tab to go into edit mode so we can start creating our cart. Alright, so first things first, kind of just like when you're modeling from an image, you want to kind of plot out how you want your topology to look like. So first thing I'm going to do is add in a couple loops. So I'm going to go into side view here, hit Control R and add in 2 loops. Hit escape so that way they're just centered, and I'm going to size them on the y-axis, and we're going to put them about there, and we're going to do the same thing to this side. Size them along the x-axis to about there. Looks good. That way it has a nice actual square, so these are somewhat similar in size. And then what we'll go ahead and do is grab all of these faces on the bottom. Not that one. Just these. And we're going to hit E to extrude and pull it down as if this were the supports that the actual card itself were kind of built on. And then we'll go ahead and add in 2 loops here, size that in to about there, and I want it a little offset. And we will also want another 2 loops here. Make that about the same size as the other ones. Probably about there. Looks good. Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and make our standoffs for what I'm going to have the axle going through later on. So just bring that down. Cool, so the axle for the wheel will be going through there later. Have that prepped. Now the stands, I'm going to go ahead and grab these 2 faces, hit E to extrude, and these will be what the cart actually rests on. That looks a little thin though. That's pretty dinky for some stands. I might make that bigger. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab these 2 faces and make them bigger. I like the stands, probably about that. And we'll make them wider as well. Oops. Perfect, and they're still square. I like that better. As far as the height goes, we're still under 1/4 of an inch tall, so that's good. I'm probably going to bring this down a little bit, because I do want it about 1/4 of an inch tall, probably a little bit shorter honestly, so this will probably still be good for the height of the mini itself. Now what we will go ahead and do is fix this really quick to make this square again. There we go. Perfect. Now we can go ahead and pop our handles out. So this will be what he can grab onto. And I want to add a little detail to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab these, make 2 loops there. And what we'll do with that is bring that up and do the same thing to this one back here. Whoops. Pull that up. Pull that there. Just so it kind of looks more like a handhold. That looks good. So now for the actual cart itself, I'm going to add in 2 loops here. And again, we're going to fix these really quick. And size them in, add a loop right here, like that. Looks good. Now what I'm going to do is grab these 2 faces and these 2 faces, go into top view. Actually, before we do that, let's make sure that this looks thick enough. Yeah, that looks like a thick enough edge. So we'll go ahead and insert the actual cavity into the cart. So we're just going to hit E to extrude and bring that down. About there. Looks good. And now to add a little bit of detail on the sides of our cart, go into top view, hit Z, hit E to extrude, and we're just going to size that along the x-axis and go halfway in, so we're making it meet these other faces. Grab these and these. Go into top view, hit Z so you can see through again, hit E to extrude and size along the y-axis. Perfect. Now that's looking pretty cute. I like it. Now obviously for a hand cart we need the wheels. So one easy way we can go ahead and do that is we're going to go back into object mode and we're going to add in a cylinder. And this will be the axle. So we'll go ahead, go into side view. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. And we're going to size that to be much smaller. That's looking good. I like that. You can leave that for now. Of course, you can add in other details if you wanted to have other things on there. I might add a little detail in a minute, but I want to go ahead and hop into creating the wheel. So let's change this name to axle. Axle. And now we will go ahead and add in a circle for our wheel. So 32 is way too many vertices for what I want to do. I'm going to bring this down to 24. See how that works. But should be good. I'm still going to add a subdivision surface modifier to it, of course. And we're going to hop into edit mode, go into the side view, do the rotate 90 degrees again. Go ahead and size it down. Obviously, I'm not going to make it perfect yet. But what we will do is, everything's already selected, which is good. I want to go ahead and extrude it and do about there for now. Looks good. Then I'm going to select everything and extrude everything and then size it the appropriate way. Make sure your normals look good. That looks good. Now, since it's a wooden cart, I want the outer rim to be kind of flat, but I don't want to sharpen the edges because I still want it to have kind of like, you know, it's not perfect. So what I'll do instead is just add a couple of loops in to make it a little bit more flat, but not perfectly flat. Like it still has a nice rounded edge to it. So I like that. That looks good. Now we're going to go ahead and add in the spokes. So let's grab, I'm going to probably do about 5 or 6 spokes in here, whatever looks natural. So let's see. We'll grab this one. Let's skip 2. Oops. Perfect. Yep. So start with whichever one's kind of at the top and then skip every 2 and go around, and that will be good for you if you're doing 24. Now, what we'll do is hit E to extrude, just hit escape, and we're going to size them. But if you notice, if you just hit size, it's going to go in already, and I actually just want to make them smaller first. So instead of hitting size, we're going to go down here to the pivot point and change it to active element. So that way each one will actually size, just kidding, not active element. I mean individual origins. And we'll size that in. Size it down. I don't want it that thin. I'm trying to make them look a little bit more boxy. I think like that looks pretty good. Yeah, let's try that size. I think it looks good. Now, instead of individual point, we'll go ahead, get out of edit mode really quick. We are going to go over to our transform menu really quick and put the geometry to the origin because the origin's already at the 3D cursor. So I'm going to hide our cart and the axle for a second. Go back into edit mode. We are going to put the pivot point as 3D cursor. And now, oops, I have to hit E to extrude again. And size that in, and everything will go to the cursor perfectly. Now that I just moved it, it won't. If you ever accidentally get your cursor in the wrong spot, you can always hit Shift C and it will go back for you. Sorry, I usually forget that one, but Shift C will get your origin back to the center of all the axes. And now that they all have come in, we'll size that in a little bit. We can go back to individual origins and size them back up. And this will take a second, but all you have to do is grab 2 vertices. We're going to switch back over to vertice mode here. Grab 2, hit Alt-M, go at center. Now I guess you could probably skip this step since we're going to boolean the wheel to the axle anyway, but I like to try and have it still pretty as clean as I can. So obviously it looks a little funky now. All we have to do is add in some more loops to get rid of that funkiness. And there is another thing I will do as well. We'll go in here and we'll also make a face there. Face there. And we'll want to get rid of these inside faces. Perfect. Oh, except our normals got a little wonky there. So we'll want to select everything, hit spacebar, type in normals, whoops, and go down to make normals consistent, hit enter, and that will fix our normals. There we go. Perfect. It's a pretty good looking wheel. Are going to add a loop to each of these bases. I'll probably sharpen the edges, but like I said, I don't want this card to be perfect. I want it to look kind of used and abused. So, yeah. buildup of mud or something like that, or what the not crisp lines will be. So that looks pretty good for what I want my wheel to be. I'm not going to apply this straight to the cart though. I'm going to leave this as is and duplicate it. And oh, I didn't rename that. I thought I renamed it. I forgot. Change that really quick. Okay, so we will take wheel 1, unhide our cart and our axle, and line this up. So go ahead and grab wheel 1, go into front view, size that in. We'll go ahead and start working this to match up with the axle. Ooh, that's way too far away. And we can always make our axle a little bit different. That looks close enough. Oh, that actually works really nice. Let's put it there, looks good. Make sure it lines up with our circle though. Might make our axle a little bit bigger, honestly. Actually, no, I think that looks like it worked quite nicely. Yeah, I may make the axle a little bit thicker. That looks good. Let's do that. Size it back in a little bit. Okay, perfect. Now we will go ahead and we're going to apply this subdivision surface modifier, and duplicate this. We're just going to go into top view here, pull that over to the other side. Perfect. Oh, that looks so cute. Okay. So yeah, our stands definitely aren't long enough now. Grab each and pull that down. Now, of course, it's not going to be matching the wheel itself. Probably going to have it a little bit taller. I think that looks good. So that way it's like, you know, as you lift it naturally, this isn't dragging on the ground. The wheel is what's turning. That looks pretty good. That looks so cute. Okay. So I know I sped through that really fast. Please let me know if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns. But really quick, we'll go ahead and just boolean everything together. But then after that, you are all done unless you wanted to add in more details or anything like that. You could add in a subdivision surface modifier to this if you wanted your handles to be round, things like that. Yeah, you can do all kinds of fun things with a hand cart, but I wanted mine to be pretty basic. All we need are 3 Boolean union, not 4, modifiers. So before we actually apply them, I'm going to select everything, go into Object, Apply, Rotation, and Scale, just to make sure we don't have any issues with our Boolean modifiers. Going to do the axle first, hide it, make sure it didn't do anything weird. Perfect. Do this other wheel and this wheel, hide them both. Perfect. Looks good. Apply them both. And it worked. Yay, and we have a beautiful little hand cart that we can 3D print and have fun with. So again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and just leave any other general comments that you have. I love to hear feedback, and I really look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye!